Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the northern beaches of Sydney, Australia, and the state of New South Wales, a place called Narrabeen, which has a ton of surfing history. And it's so great to be back here at the championship tour level on the opening day of the waiting period. Thanks for being with us on the Harvey Norman host set. Joe Turpel, Ronnie Blakey, and Richie Lovett. I know this stretch of sand means a lot to you both. Ronnie, you've seen all the various moods that this wave has to offer. How psyched are you that the CT is back?
So psyched, and it's been over 20 years since we've seen a championship tour event on the northern beaches. It was Taj Barrow winning down in Manly way back in '99. But it's just so cool for this area. This is one of the original surf meccas. Great shapers from this region. A lot of board building and innovation coming from the northern beaches. A lot of world champions from the northern beaches. And so many great surfers from this particular zone. But I know all the locals are just amping.
Yeah, really cool. I mean, Rich, you're from Manly. Was it pretty often that you'd actually drive up the coast and sample the goods right out front here?
Yeah, and in my latter years on the tour, I'd always come up to Narrabeen because it is such a great break. It's probably considered the premier beach break on the northern beaches. So I'd always come up here, but very, very competitive in the lineup. I had to do my dues to even get a wave out here. So it's, you know, they keep it closely guarded, but for a reason, because it's such a great wave.
Back to Manly, you're blowing.
Yeah. Well, I heard that once or twice.
Haven't we all?
Oh, we love it. We're so happy to be here. Let's see if we're going to be on today as we say good morning to Stace Galbraith and Jesse Miley-Dyer.
Thanks, Joe. I'm down here with the head of tours and competition, Jesse Miley-Dyer. It's good to see you again, but what are we up to today?
Good to see you, Stace. Yeah, no, look, we're going to be off for the day. There's pretty small conditions. Yeah, it looks fun. It looks fun for you and I, but from what we're looking at in the forecast, definitely looks like tomorrow and the next day, you know, Saturday, Sunday here in Oz, we could have some fun waves, so we're going to wait for that.
Awesome. Yeah, the forecast does look pretty promising. We're due for a couple of big days?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, definitely looking at the weekend and the swell that we're going to have on offer. We've got, you know, so many great local crew here helping us out, and, you know, there's so many great surfers that, you know, have such great local knowledge. I definitely think that we're going to get waves, and, yeah, I'm excited.
For sure, as well as a lot of good local knowledge on hand. We've all got an opinion, and I know we're all pretty excited about the weekend, but I'll send it to the gents back in the booth to figure this one out.
Thanks so much, Stace. Jesse Miley-Dyer making the quick decision to move on from today. As you can see on screen, it looked pretty small, but looks like we do have some things to hope for through the weekend, Rich. What are we looking at?
Yeah, absolutely. The forecast looks really good, actually. We've got this building south swell today. There's a little bit of wind behind it as well. Whenever you see those purple and orange blobs on the screen like that, that's when the surfers get excited. So this south swell is going to start being a long period swell as of tomorrow, which means clean lines, and there's going to be some power in the wave as well. The good news is it's going to build all through the week, and even the better news is that we've got really good wind direction for the whole week ahead, offshore and light offshore. So all the conditions are going to be perfectly groomed. With this swell direction from the south, it's going to shorten up the lefts a little bit. It'll make them stand up. They'll be nice and punchy, and it'll make those alley rights run into the alley a little bit longer, stretch them out a little bit more. But I think we're going to see waves at least in the shoulder to head high range, possibly a couple of days that are going to be a little bit bigger.
The lake is open too at the moment, and that always really helps clean the bank up. The surfers had the opportunity with that last swell to get some surfing done. I'm sure everyone saw it on social media. People have warmed up. I think that last event up at Newcastle got everyone right into the zone. I think with that swell coming, we're going to see exceptional surfing again.
Looking forward to it. The draw looks incredible. Coming up next on the show, we'll dive into the best heats on the women's side right after this. Welcome back. As we check out the leaderboard, we had a couple of changes after Newcastle. Carissa Moore back to world number 1. Tyler Wright, after getting knocked out early by Courtney Conlogue, just drops to 2nd. But look at all those big points towards Carissa's name. Finals are huge. Wins even bigger for points as you're chasing a top 5 position into the Rip Curl WSL Finals in September. Joe Turpel with Ronnie Blakey, switching out Richie Lovett for Dimity Stoyle. Morning, Dim.
Good morning.
It is so early. We're going to be off for the day, but I know you've been amping looking at these big heats on the women's side. So many great names to talk about, but when you think about Narrabeen and a fun left, you start thinking of the goofy footers, going, will they get a shot to show off their talent on their forehand?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be so exciting to see the goofy footers in their, in their element, finally surfing a left.
So cool. Caroline Marks, one of the all-stars of the tour, just released a really cool film with Red Bull, which was great to watch, Ron. She is really just made for a left like this. Hopefully she gets some big sections and can throw down some big airs against Tyler Wright and Macy Callahan.
We talk so much about Caroline's backhand that we don't really give enough attention and focus to the forehand, which is remarkable. We've seen it at the Surf Ranch before. She's had big results there. Isn't afraid to throw her board into the air as well. So I think she's just as solid. The backhand's definitely her go-to weapon, but what you've got to remember is to compare Caroline's forehand to the other backhands on the championship tour, the regular footers backhands, and I think she holds her own against the backhand. She might even have an advantage coming here to Narrabeen.
It's such a good point, and I feel like she's going to be inspired. She's the Grom on tour. For Carissa getting a 9-9 for an air, and she knows she's landed a bunch of forehand revs up in Texas at the wave pool. She's going to be really motivated to show the world what she's got.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just an opportunity here having this, it's going to be rippable and fun. And so, yeah, she's definitely got a chance to throw out those airs that she's been practicing in the pool.
Let's stick with the goofy fit talk, Dimity. Tatiana Weston-Webb, someone that you got to spar with on the championship tour level, and she kind of is in this moment where she's needing a big result early to really get back into this title talk. She was knocked out of Newcastle real early.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that she didn't have a great run in Newcastle, but this will be really exciting to see her here. And, she's got one of the most powerful forehands on the tour, and we saw that in France, and hopefully we get to see it again here.
Also, this place can get a lot of size, Ron, as we reflect back on one of the most memorable moments in Tati's rookie season, packing a 10-point ride in the southwest of France.
She was so unapologetic as a rookie on the championship tour. Even when she came in as a replacement a few times, she always got herself through those first couple of rounds. But she's kind of mellowed a little bit. She's obviously matured, but I kind of wanted to get that fight back. It sort of helped her upset the rhythm of the world champs and the event winners on the CT, and I think with that mindset, she was a little more dangerous. I think that, she's got to sort of reclaim that fire that saw her get the results early on in her career.
It was amazing that she's actually apologizing looking back for some of those moments in the competitors area, saying, let me get out there. But I loved it. We all loved it because it showed how confident she was, and she backed it up with big scores. So many great heats in the round. We got to focus on world number 1, the reigning 4-time world champ Carissa Moore has Nikki Van Dyke and our co-commentator, the wildcard Laura Enever, on her home break, Dim.
This is a huge heat, and for me, I've actually got both of these surfers in my fantasy. So I've got Carissa and Laura, and I couldn't go past Carissa after the form. She's in Newcastle.
Are we all going to get a shot at a wild card? Or is it just Laura? This was incredible. This is one of the best moves ever. It's been so celebrated after the contest. She is amazing. I would have loved to have seen a 10-point ride. I know that it's still a great number, regardless, the 9.7, but I just think we want to keep encouraging that progression. The crazy thing about Carissa is bank the air, whatever, just forget about it for a minute. The surfing that she did on the open face was worthy of excellent scores as well.
It's now, she has the role of now repeating that success, that same momentum that she has. I feel like Carissa is a surfer that can do that after a huge result. She's ready to put the pedal to the metal even further. But some things that just change things around are wild cards that love spoiling the roles of the world title run. And Laura Enever's not your normal wild card. She's been on tour for so many years with you, Dimity.
Yeah.
How's she feeling about this opportunity to step back in the arena with the world's best?
Yeah, she is so excited. She's just had a year chasing gigantic waves around the world, and now we finally get to see her back in the jersey. And no better place than her home break, Narrabeen.
And it seems like she thrives off the local crowd. All of her biggest moments of her career seem to happen at least around here on the northern beaches.
Yeah, the World Junior title that she won just here, she won down in Manly. She just seems very comfortable when competing on the northern beaches, and she's, I think, a different human these days. She was kind of a little flustered in her championship tour career, but you know, she's faced some big challenges in the big wave arena since then, and I think she'll come into this one a lot more settled and a lot more confident.
So excited to see her back in the lineup in the CT jersey. Let's take a moment to learn more about this local legend.
When Laura Enever disappeared over the falls of a Jaws monster during the 2016 Piahi Challenge, it was clear to the world that her transformation from Pro Tour party girl to one of the most fearless surfers on the planet was all but complete. Her remarkable story, which started out with her doing cartwheels along the edge of Narrabeen Lagoon, and somehow ended up with her doing cartwheels down the face of the world's most terrifying waves, has been punctuated by incredible highs, like winning the World Junior title in front of her home crowd in 2010, but also frustrating inconsistencies during her 7-year stint on the World Tour. Since leaving the CT, she has found her place within the pantheon of Narrabeen's all-time trailblazers. She continues to rewrite the book as one of the finest slab chasers in the world.
Good morning. Welcome back to Narrabeen. Contest off for the day, but a lot to discuss. On the leaderboard, Italo Ferreira back in the driver's seat after a huge win over Medina. And look at all the points, especially in the top two for the Goofy Foot world champ Brazilians. John Florence knocked out by Morgan Siblick, still hangs on to third, and a few ties for that fourth spot, including Australia's Ryan Callanan, trying to keep themselves in that top five picture. So really cool to see how intense it is in that top five position, Ronnie. Things are going to get heated here at Narrabeen.
Really interesting looking at the women's leaderboard and now looking at the men's, the world champs. They've made their move to the top already, and it feels like on both tours that it's becoming a battle for the fourth and fifth position. I think our world champs will be there competing for another world title at the end of the season at the WSL Rip Curl finals at Trestles, but it just feels like there's going to be an unbelievable race to get to those final two spots on both tours, Rich.
Absolutely, and for me, there's a couple of notables that aren't in the mix there and aren't on that front page. Julian Wilson, Owen Wright, they've got a bit of work to do as well. So the leaderboard's really heating up.
Really excited to look at Heat 6 as well. What a matchup. Italo Ferreira, Morgan Siblick, the hero from Newcastle, and the wild card named Mick Fanning, one of the best of all time, is looking to mix things up. Richie, how's this one going to play out?
Well, it's going to be really interesting. Italo's going to do his thing. We know that. I'm interested to see whether Morgan can keep the momentum going. Often after a big event like that, there's a bit of a come-down period, and he's going to need to keep that going, keep the energy up. And then the wild card of Mick Fanning, well, he's unpredictable.
Last time we saw Mick was at Bells Beach. This is when, well, we thought maybe this is the last time we'd see him perform. It was emotional. It was unbelievable to see him get so close to a win. He shared the water with Italo Ferreira as we look back.
Yeah, we've been lucky because Mick is one of those rare individuals who I think is driven by performance. So even though we thought this was going to be the last time we'd seen him, we've seen so much of him. He's been working his guts out in the free surfing realm, a lot of Rip Curl film releases. It was really cool hearing Mick talk about it at the press conference. That moment, you know, in a moment that everyone thought he'd be crushed, he was just so overwhelmed to see what this final result meant to Italo, and you know, to beat Mick at Bells in your first CT win is huge.
As we check out the deep stats, powered by Hydro Flask, Fanning, the three-time world champ, 22 CT wins in 18 years. That first year was wildcard performances where he won at Bells back in 2001. He's had 6 previous wildcard performances. This one feeling a little bit different as he's 39 years of age and trying to get that feeling again. They asked him his goals at the press conference of this event. He's like, I haven't even gotten that far. He's just ready to feel that energy, all the preps there to try to mix up the title show. To make that heat even better is just throwing in Morgan Siblick. You know, this guy is just on a heater on his rookie season. Can he keep this momentum together in a heat like this?
Well, I hope he can, because I think he got a lot of people up off their seat at Newcastle, and they were quite surprised, I think. You know, he's obviously lifted his level of performance over the last 12 months. For me, he looks faster than he ever did. And, well, with an injured toe as well, he put on a performance like this, upset John Florence, and just was a giant killer all the way through to the semi-finals. And, mate, this kid's just announced his arrival onto the tour, and this is going to be the test, and he's got a huge test with Italo and Mick.
He was able to reset after each round. Even Ryan touched on it. Being a local at Meriwether Beach, it feels like you've won the comp after every heat, let alone beating John Florence. He got past Carmichael and Arcal to earn that spot in the semifinals.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. Massive performance shift in him from the day that he made the championship tour till the day that he first surfed in a championship tour event. He was just a completely different guy. But Rich is right. This is a big test for him. He's got to back up the performance. And I think that Italo is going to be the favourite in that heat just based off the size of the individual turns he's able to perform. So suddenly there becomes a focus for that second place in that heat and the jump through to the third round, and you just don't see Mick making tactical errors, and he's still looking very sharp as well. So
I like the insight on that heat. That just goes directly to your fantasy picks. In that round is the obvious one for you, Rich. Italo putting him on your fantasy team.
Yeah, it's hard to not put him on your team. I've already slotted him in there just based on his performance. It's undeniable. But, yeah, I'll let my secrets of my fantasy surf team just play out over the next couple of days. I want to see this first round, come to fruition, and then I'll lock them in.
You did very well at Newcastle.
Thank you.
Obviously, fantasy is incredible to play with your friends. There's a lot of those new rules that we put into play where you can change your team all the way through the elimination round. So pick your power surfer. That will be double points. That is extremely crucial to getting on top of your clubhouses, and join our league as well, the Commentators League. We invite you all to join us. Find fantasy on worldsurfleague.com. Much more to come on the morning show. We'll be back in Narrabeen right after this.
When you think of Narrabeen, you think of left orbs and rippable walls, staunch locals and a passionate board riders club, creatives, icons, and a ton of pro surfing success. And it's little wonder with the variety of waves on offer. There's the North Narra main break, of course, which on its day can deliver the rides of a lifetime. Then there's the high performance runners of alley rights, the short and thick slab off the point, the treacherous sand bottom barrels of car park rights. And if things get really solid, there's even the famous Narrabeen Bommy. Just down the beach, you can find the Porto Escondido like thunder eggs of Southie. And it's all within a few hundred metres of the contest scaffold. Who knows what we might see at this year's Rip Curl Narrabeen Classic.
The Welcome to Country ceremony right here on the special lands here at Narrabeen. Brisa Hennessy, Glenn Hall enjoying it. Bree's mom as well. Tyler Wright, always a big part of these ceremonies to kick off the events up at Newcastle and here at Narrabeen as she prepares for a big heat. Feeling so grateful to be in such a beautiful world here in Australia, these sacred grounds and the sacred waters here of Narrabeen. Great to have the blessing here to kick off an amazing week here at the Rip Curl Narrabeen Classic presented by Corona. Joe Turpel, Ronnie Blakey, Richie Lovett, you guys, a lot on the line and a lot of history as well here at Narrabeen. Look at that surfboard. The thruster is celebrating 40 years since it was released by the local legend Simon Anderson. That is an incredible trophy we'll be handing off.
Awesome, man. This one as well. Nice little left-hander. And you can picture yourself just slotted right in there.
Right in there. We're off for the day, Rich. What are you going to get into?
Well, the swell's coming up, mate, so I'm going to go hit the water.
There we go. A little local insight. We'll be following Rich down the coast here on the northern beaches. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow for the call at 6:45. Take care. This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.